Hey, what's up, guys? So this is Trash Talk, and I'm here to talk about Boruto Chapter 55. There's definitely a lot to talk about today. Um, I kind of, I kind of waited a little bit, of course, just to kind of start reading it and then just really like dig into it. There are some things that I've noticed that it's a little interesting, I'll tell you that much. So we'll kind of like just go ahead and get started. Um, of course, we start off with Naruto on the floor with Kurama by his side, and they're just kind of wondering if they passed on, which is totally normal because that was kind of like the idea, right? Like they thought that, oh, well, once I use this, this is it. This is going to be our final time together. Um, However, plot twist. Um, Only one of them's gonna make it out. So, Kurama starts saying that, this may be their last conversation. Um, so kind of like, start talking, start, having your last thoughts, your last conversations with me, which is really, really deep if you really think about it. Because Naruto literally, he's had Kurama like since he was born, basically, you know? So that's literally like his extension, his other half. So even though they've gone through, so much, it's like letting a part of yourself go. So um, it was pretty hard, honestly, to see that. Um, but Naruto's just kind of like going up the punches, being like, well, you killed my parents, so this is something that I was kind of prepared for. But then Naruto just kind of really like turns around from this, um, and it kind of gets like emotional because Kurama was like, this is the Baron Mode's price, is his life, not Naruto's, and he knew that the whole time. He was totally misleading Naruto from the from the beginning, knowing that this would be his ultimate end. So it's just kind of interesting to think that, like, did Kurama want to die? Was he done? Did he feel like his purpose was coming to an end? Which I know a lot of people are saying like, oh, Kurama cannot be passed on, especially when you look back at the Momoshiki arc when he was basically saying, you know, um, how poor is it to not to have all this power and not be able to pass on, all this power. Uh, Honestly, I'm still hoping that Himawari might get this, or maybe not even her, but just someone, because I don't know. I feel like it's just kind of like a weird ending to like such like a long story. Like this honestly can't be it. Like there has to be something, right? Um, and as Kurama just kind of like starts to fade in the air, saying to be careful. He does not have superhuman strength anymore. And next time he's in this situation, he might be joining him. Um, we all know Naruto is going to be sent somewhere. We don't know where he's going to be sent to, but is this foreshadowing that Naruto will actually die? Um, because we all know Naruto. He's that hyperactive knucklehead ninja that just keeps going, and he's always putting himself in harm's way to protect the ones that he loves, as like a sacrifice. So if there's one thing that we kind of learned is it seems like these manga portions, like these little you know innuendos, are definitely calling out for something because like we know Naruto's gonna go somewhere, but is he just gonna die, or is he going to try to sacrifice himself and someone else ends up doing that? Or I don't know. It's just kind of like interesting to talk about. So kind of going from there, Kurama, starts to disappear in the air, with Naruto stretched out towards him. Very beautifully done, by the way, uh, with Boruto reaching out, you know, towards him as well, in absolute disbelief, crying. It's so heartwarming just to kind of see that Boruto really cares about his father, uh, and that he's happy that he's okay. Um, but honestly, like when this does get animated, the anime will completely soar. This will be a major shock factor. This will change a lot of people's views because Boruto is so hype. There's just so much in here that people just don't really understand yet, and I'm so excited for people to actually get involved. So, uh, kind of like in the next panel, we see that you know Naruto is letting everyone know that Kurama passed, um, and that he did assume that he would die. So this just kind of confirms that Naruto is willing to sacrifice for himself, for the greater good, which is his boys. Uh, and then you kind of go back to where Boruto and Sasuke. Sasuke is just kind of like take us home, like take us back to where we were. Um, and so is Kawaki, but Boruto's like I don't know how to do it, and then Kawaki kind of like at him, being like, hey, are you afraid of you know Momoshiki to come out again? And that just kind of like makes you wonder, like honestly, like if I had that power, I'd be absolutely terrified. So I don't really blame him. But it definitely does kind of make you wonder, like if Boruto does end up changing, um, from time to time, is this gonna change how cautious he is uh, in terms of fighting? Is he going to maybe quit as a ninja, or is he just gonna, take it slow, or maybe he's gonna try to find out what to do with himself before he lets himself get to that point. So I am really interested to see what Boruto does after this chapter. I'm not sure if it's going to go straight into Shippuden soon, or maybe they are just going to play around a little bit more before we actually see anything. But this definitely is just a huge turning point. Everyone's kind of been like, in some way or another, um, you know, destroyed, whether it be emotionally, physically, or something. But yeah, this fight was very, very notable in the Naruto verse. So yeah, kind of going back, like I honestly feel like Sasuke is going to be the one to give Boruto his scar. Um, because in the very, very beginning, you see that Boruto has like, his pure eye, and then he has like the scar, right? So I think at some point Sasuke will probably try to stop Borishiki and may end up giving his scar. However, I actually just thought of something, which we'll actually talk about in a second, which is kind of interesting. Um, yeah, so like I think that maybe Sasuke might do this, or maybe someone else. Um, in the next panel, you see my boy Code. He's just kind of like waking up from his little nap. Uh, Definitely overdid it. I really love how they're kind of showing Code's personality, just being introduced more into the anime series as a, beloved, loyal, boy toy towards Jigen, winning all that attention but never getting it. But you really start seeing like a glow up in these like next panels. Like you kind of see from how Code was back in the anime to what we see now, which is just more of like this is my time. Like this, I'm not gonna like screw this up. I'm going to like really push myself into the obsession that he has over Jigen and Ashiki. So of course, honestly, if we didn't have any of this kind of growth in the anime, this plot twist would have been super lackluster. So I'm really happy that they really did show that right before this dropped, and we could appreciate this moment more. So as a Code wakes up to reveal, he also has a karma seal under his sleeves, but states that it's more of like a dud. a dud of a experiment. Ishiki pops up before him, calling him his most loyal, beloved servant, giving Code the inherited pure power of the white karma seal. So, if his karma seal is going to be white, and Boruto and Kawaki have red, um, I'm just kind of curious, like what they're gonna do with Code in terms of like his strength, because if you really think about it, we haven't really seen Code actually fight or have any kind of anything yet. I'm pretty sure in the anime we might see something eventually, but as of now, it's just a big mystery. So I'm kind of curious, like what kind of setup they have for him, and if he actually is the strongest of the Kara members. But one thing that really struck out to me was Ishiki starts mentioning that the sorry if I say this wrong, Otsutsuki have been continuously evolving over thousands of years and devouring countless planets. So I'm actually a really big H.P. Lovecraft kind of guy. I really get that kind of vibe from that statement. And those not too familiar with H.P. Lovecraft, he is a writer of weird and horror fiction who is known for his creation of the Cthulhu mythos. So Cthulhu is like the guy with like, the squid head kind of thing. You've probably seen him at some point in your life. Um, but there's actually a lot of multiple short stories and animes that have a similar take on what Ashiki is saying, like Hellstar Remina. Hellstar Remina is a comic series about a star-sized living planet that consumes planetary bodies. So maybe a little bit far-fetched, but like honestly, it's it's kind of in that realm. So are they trying to make Boruto into more of like a horror sci-fi kind of feel where they're dealing with gods, they're dealing with aliens, which basically what I'm saying is true because they are showing that, but I don't think anyone's actually thought about that. So that's kind of interesting. I would like to see more of that. If I'm right, awesome. If not, then that's cool. But definitely check out Hellstar Remina. If you're kind of like curious about like what I'm saying. So I'll definitely drop a link down below if you do want to read or watch one of the comics. It's also on YouTube, so which is here. So I'll definitely drop that down there. Um, so kind of going back, so Ashiki, says that Code needs to cultivate a divine tree with either consuming Boruto or Kawaki, um, and which is pretty much like what they've been trying to do. Um, but can Code do it? We're not sure. He might now. He might be super hype. We'll see what happens. But Code does question Boruto Uzumaki, so that kind of also makes me think. I don't think I've actually seen Boruto and Code meet. Um, which it would make sense if they never met in the anime. With that statement, if they do meet, then I don't know. They might have some kind of connection in some way. If there is something, let me know. But yeah, I just kind of thought that was interesting. And honestly, with Code basically stating that he will become the next Otsutsuki if he consumes Kawaki Boruto, and then consuming planet after planet, he will become a literal god. And then it shows like an opening of like basically like this divine being, which then again reminds me of H.P. Lovecraft. So I really like this take. I never honestly thought that Naruto would ever kind of go in this kind of direction, but I'm really liking it. Just because I'm like a big H.P. Lovecraft nerd. So um, again, like if you have not seen or heard about H.P. Lovecraft or Cthulhu or Hellstar Remina, I'll drop those links. But it's definitely something to look at, especially for kind of getting into this kind of territory. Um, so yeah, so then Code accepts his will. He gets the white karma, and yeah, like honestly, I think it's really interesting that they're kind of having Code be like the one. since he was like the one that wanted to be basically like the vessel, and he just never got it. So super hyped for that. But one thing that I did kind of want to point out is we go into like this cut scene with like Amato kind of like muttering to himself, and like Samir and Doctor, sorry if I say it wrong again, Kataske. Uh, sorry, I don't know Japanese or like pronunciation, so excuse my mess ups. But yeah, so they kind of go up like a cutscene with him, and like Amato is just kind of like talking to himself, and they're just kind of like, "Are you good, bro?" And he's just like, "Yeah, I'm fine," but we all know he's not. Like, this is kind of like what I meant before, like those innuendos, those little like sprinkles that they have. They don't really like. They don't just put that there for no reason, you know. So that kind of makes me think, from my point of view, um, it looks like he either knows that he screwed up and he's like, oh crap, like doesn't code have a karma seal? But that doesn't sound like a motto. That doesn't sound like something that he would do because he literally calculated everything. So then that kind of makes me think, is was Amato truly a traitor to Kara, or was he a double agent knowing that code had that seal on him? Um, so, and if so, what's going to be Amato's next step, knowing that Ishiki basically put a hit out on him? I don't know. It's just kind of interesting. That is also my question to you guys. You know, like, what do you think? Is Amato really a traitor, or is he a double agent? Knowing that code has that seal. But yeah, that's basically it. If you guys have any comments or questions, you know, definitely post in the section below, or just answer my question and let me know what you guys think. But yeah, thanks for watching and have a great day.